Hey everybody, welcome back to Vegas Tips and Tricks Weekly. It is Saturday, August the 12th, 2023. Been an eventful few days around here. Woke up this morning not feeling well at all, but fortunately, it seems to have passed, literally. So we're back here today. Again, wanted to get a show out, but also I had some stuff I really wanted to talk about today. Mostly stuff concerning the future of the channel, what we've got going on over the next month or so. Um, we are very quickly, shockingly soon, approaching our big John Timber trip in September. It's 3 weeks from tomorrow. I'll be flying out there. And I got to tell you, things are really filling up. I got almost every day, almost every part of every day, something going on. So, um, if you see me in Vegas, obviously, hey, say hello, come by, shake my hand, wish me happy birthday. Maybe we can have a drink, maybe we can talk for a bit, but it's getting crazy. Between my own events and then the Mark Timber stuff the night before, it's going to be really busy. So I'm excited about it and excited to meet so many new friends and once again hang out with so many old friends. Okay, I did make an adjustment to my schedule in Vegas yesterday, actually. So I did want to share that. Originally, I had booked 2 nights at New York, New York. Had an offer from them, comped, and those 2 nights were going to be, or are going to be, actually, I didn't change this, in one of their new, I guess, remodeled Soho rooms. So I'm very excited to see that. It looked like a great room, very nice, a fridge and everything. So that's still going to happen. I'll be there on the 3rd and the 4th. Originally, I was going to be at Planet Hollywood the next 3 nights, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Really enjoyed playing in their casino, particularly like late night, hitting up the Keno machines. But I started to realize a couple of things. One, I had some of my very best friends who are going to be in Vegas during the trip are going to be at the Horseshoe throughout the trip, which would make it a much more convenient place to stay. And also, really, on the 5th and the 6th, the evenings there, I'm not really going to have time to spend any time at the casino there at Planet Hollywood, maybe on the 7th a little bit. So I was like, well, let's see if I can move my hotel reservation. And so I will actually be at Horseshoe, the old Bally's, the old MGM Grand, if you want to really go back, on the 5th, 6th, and 7th. So, although I won't really be there on the 6th, but that's a long story. We'll get to that later. But so other than that, what's going on with the channel? I have been kind of alluding to some changes coming, particularly in terms of the Wednesday show. Wow, maybe what, year and a half ago, at least? I started doing the Wednesday show. I said I was going to do 100 of them. It has morphed, somewhat, I guess, because it was easy, into a show where we've talked about different casino resorts around Las Vegas. It may not completely end up that way. We have 9 more weeks until we hit that 100 mark. And I've mentioned that we're going to be making some changes at that point. And today I'm going to talk about some of those changes real briefly. First off, the Wednesday show, as we currently know it, will go away. Secondly, the Vegas Tips and Tricks Weekly show will have a new format. And by a new format, I mean a format at all. Those of you who have been watching the channel for a number of years will probably remember back to, say, 2020, 2021, when we did our Vegas weekly show. And we had some very, very specific sort of segments that we talked about every week. We had the very famous vacuum cleaner sequence where we talked about some housekeeping details. I guess this whole show is housekeeping details. But we also had, like a Vegas channel of the week. We had a news segment. We had Vegas tips. So we're going to be revamping the weekly show. It's still going to be called Vegas Tips and Tricks Weekly because I like that. I think that's a good name. And we're going to be spending a significant slightly larger amount of time putting together the show on a weekly basis. I'm going to try to make the show more sort of user-friendly, um, add some more content, add some more visuals where it's appropriate. But also, we're going to, that is going to also be our weekly podcast, which again, you've noticed has kind of gone away over the last couple of months. But so we will be doing the Vegas Tips and Tricks Weekly Show. It will have a format. We will probably be starting to create and incorporate the new format over the next several weeks or several months, certainly by the time we get back from Vegas in September. So look for that for sure. If you have any suggestions, if you have any ideas for what you'd like to see on the show, you know, I'm thinking I'd like to do some stuff like maybe a Vegas comp tip, a Vegas hotel tip, a Vegas gambling tip, a Vegas show tip. There aren't always going to be a lot of news stories. I mean, like right now, there's kind of a lot going on in Vegas, but that isn't always the case. So I don't know if there will always be a Vegas news segment, but probably will be. So you're saying we're doing away with the Wednesday show? Well, not entirely. Just as probably here in a couple of weeks, we're going to do a live stream. Those live streams are almost always on Wednesday. And that will be the case again this year. It's probably going to be the 29th of August. Is it 20th? Actually, I think it's the 30th. It could be the 23rd. We're going to do it within a week or so of our trip to Vegas. And if you haven't watched last week's episode, there's some questions that I'll be asking you, some trivia questions during the show that you'll have to find the answers to in last week's show. So we will do a Wednesday show from time to time. It'll be more of a special event, whether it'll be a live stream, whether it might be some sort of an update or a sort of summary of a trip to Vegas. It'll be a special event if we do a Wednesday show. But in addition to a more, I would say, interesting, enjoyable, retweetable sort of show on Saturdays, we are also going to be doing some shorts. And, unless you've been living under a rock the last couple of years, you've seen the growth of TikTok. You've also seen YouTube reacting to that with their YouTube short series. And a lot of folks have been very successful recently, posting a number of these shorts. And, really, our Wednesday show has maybe been 2 or 3 minutes long anyway. So we're going to get into the shorts business and, hopefully incorporate some little clips of things that I'm doing in Vegas with some voiceovers. Again, we're going to, along with the weekly show, we're going to attempt once again to try to make this show more viewer-friendly, more user-friendly, and hopefully attract some more people to the channel. That's the goal. To summarize, the Wednesday show, as we know it, will go away after the next 9 weeks. From time to time, we will do a special on Wednesday, as we are going to do in August, as a preview of our John Timber trip in September. We will also be revamping the weekly show, adding some regular segments, adding a few bells and whistles, and that show will be also our weekly podcast. And then finally, we're going to be doing some shorts. I think probably it's been a couple of months ago that I said basically, I really am not encouraging people to do memberships on the channel. Appreciate all of those people who have, but I couldn't figure out how to deactivate it. Well, I did figure out how to deactivate it this week. So if you have a membership to the channel, it went away. You can save your $4.99 a month or whatever it was that you were spending. And again, certainly want to appreciate those folks that did contribute, and some of you over the course of multiple years contributed. I will leave a link in the show notes below to my PayPal if anybody wants to make a one-time contribution to the channel, or just record that information and and from time to time make a contribution to the channel, hey, that's great. Um, with YouTube, you get maybe 70% of the money. PayPal is much better. So yeah, I'll leave my PayPal address if you want to send me, buck or two, whatever. You can do that. But our membership program is gone, um, which is good because if you had a membership, you should have expected to see this show yesterday, and in fact, it's going to be, fairly late on Saturday instead. Um, it would have been potentially even later if I hadn't called in today with my stomach issues, which thankfully, literally, had passed. So yeah, but yeah, in Vegas again from the 3rd to the 8th. It is looking like I kind of have some people I want to meet up with on the 3rd. The 4th, 5th, and 6th are going to be crazy. The 7th is looking like at this point that it's going to be a little more laid back, which is probably good. An opportunity to just kind of detox and rest up a little bit before I have to head back home on the 8th. Some of you have asked, quite rightly, whether or not my wife will be joining me on this trip. And we have been kind of fudging on that answer because, originally, she was like, no, I want you to go, but I don't know if I want to go. And that's kind of still where we are. It is now like literally 22 days away. And I don't think, unfortunately, that she's going to be joining me. So, if you were hoping to meet her, and you should hope to meet her because she's a wonderful, wonderful person, light of my life, honestly. But unfortunately, this is not going to be a trip that's going to work out very well for us or for her. And we'll talk about that a little bit more once we get to Vegas, if I see you there. But she's probably not going to be there. So if you were coming to Vegas just to see her, sorry, probably not on this trip. But you can ask my buddies Keno and Candy or Walt and Tina. They can verify that she's real. Okay, and she's currently sleeping, so hopefully I'm not waking her up. But yeah, no. But yeah, the trip's going to be exciting. A couple of days in New York, 3 days at Horseshoe. The 4th is going to be our big casino crawl, which might be a little scary. The 5th is really Mark's Day, and we're going to be doing a bunch of stuff there. I think Tom and Mindy are doing an event that afternoon at the Fuel Bar, a Martini Monday. I'm definitely going to try to stop in for that and see them as well. But then there's a group pull, and then there's Mark Timber. And then on the 6th, kind of resting up in the morning, midday, but then going to head downtown, probably mid-afternoon, with a couple of close friends, and then I'll be around there, and then we'll all, hopefully, if you're coming, we'll meet up in the D, at the D, 2nd floor, near Bar Canada, and we'll, toast the 60th anniversary of my appearance here on Earth. So, hey, look, do I look 60? I don't think so. So, must be doing something right. I think that something is going to Vegas as often as possible. And like I said, it feels like it's been a long, long time since I've been there. Maybe it's just because a lot of things have happened since then. But no, this is a very special trip for me in a number of ways. And I do hope to see many of you. I keep thinking, there's some folks that are likely to surprise me. I've actually gotten a couple of folks the last few days who let me know that they were actually going to be there or were going to be there during part of the festivities, and very exciting, very excited about that. On a sad note, I guess probably this past Thursday afternoon, I lost a cousin, my first cousin, Larry. He was, when I was about 8, 9 years old, I thought he was the coolest person in the world, and maybe he was. But been a long time since I've seen Larry, and unfortunately, he had a number of health issues. And he passed away this past week at only 64 years of age. And at my advanced age, 64 doesn't seem that old. But so I wanted to take a moment just to acknowledge Larry and dedicate today's show to him. I think we could have had a really good time in Vegas, actually. And so peace and rest in peace, my friend, my cousin. All right, we'll be back on Wednesday with another Vegas resort review. I think maybe we're going to do Virgin finally, because I just realized I've never done it. No, not that kind of Virgin. But and then we'll be back next week with another episode of Vegas Tips and Tricks Weekly, and maybe we'll even have some Vegas tips and tricks. Until then, hope you have a great, lucky, and healthy week. We'll see you all again real soon. Look, my shirt's not red. Bye-bye.